Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Mountain. We are moments away from starting the very first tribal council of the game, and we will soon find out who the very first player voted out of the game will be. As you can see behind me is our amazing tribal council setup. Check out that view as promised. And coming on into tribal council for the first time is the Rollins tribe. So we've got Kira, Dion, Sandra, Aviva, Paul, Patrick, and Sean.
Yep. All right, welcome to Tribal Council. I'm sure you're not happy to see me this morning. A few ground rules for Tribal Council before we begin. I'm going to tell every tribe this when they get here the first time. Speak up. We want to make sure our live viewers are able to follow along. So enunciate and try to speak up so that they can have an idea of how you're playing and what you're saying so they can root for you. The second thing that I want to say is we are not hiding anything in the voting booth. Do not waste my time in there. We want to keep this thing moving. Obviously, do whatever deliberations you need in terms of whether to vote at all or to not, but try to keep it quick in there. But all right, we'll get underway. So I'm going to start with you, Patrick. You obviously put yourself in the hero role of that challenge, doing the puzzle at the end there. How do you feel about kind of letting the tribe down? How did they react to kind of the end of that puzzle?
Yeah, they were so let down. No, I mean, honestly, we had already talked through who would be good leaders if we had a challenge like this. And the fact that we got to have three, it kind of naturally fell into place. I had for you to help kind of take a look at, but they didn't repay the favor for you today. Did you feel upset about that at all?
No, I mean, yesterday we were there as a group, we were there in teams, we didn't have tribes yet, there wasn't any reason to, I think, withhold that information for people. Today we're competing in teams, like, that could look so bad to the other tribe if they did that for me, so I would have done the same thing.
So something kind of grander than just yourselves. So Kira, what does it mean to you to have earned kind of that first immunity here? Obviously more than just not being able to go home today, but what does it kind of mean to you for you and your charity?
It means a lot more to me than just like being safe in my game, that I was able to raise a sufficient amount of money that will benefit our community of veterans, whether they need heating oil or they're going skydiving for camaraderie. It does mean a lot to me, and it feels good, and Maine Veterans Project I can help us with.
Do you feel like the charities themselves and kind of learning about other people's charities are playing a role in who you might want to vote out? Are you weighing that at all?
We actually discussed that last night, and no, because we listened to everyone's story, and it's all valid, and everyone has like something that drives them, and whether it's charity or whether it's competition, everyone's purpose is important, and we value that within each other, so no one's story rises above others, and we don't have to put others down.
So Sean, the first vote in a tribe kind of sets the tone, right? And it can go a lot of different ways. You might vote for challenge strength or alliance strength. What do you feel like is the predominating factor for this group right now?
Probably consensus. I think we've lost 2 challenges in a row now, and so we want to have a situation where we feel good together moving into the next challenge. That doesn't mean it's a challenge strength vote, I don't think, but we don't want to feel divided going into the next one, because that's not going to lead for success, I don't think.
Well, speaking of some divisions, looked at some fancy math here, and I found out that Sandra, you're the only one from the original social group that wound up on this tribe. Do you feel like that has put you at a disadvantage? Are you playing catch up, trying to get, in with this group at all?
I mean, definitely at first. That was the first thing I thought of. So I'm social. So I definitely went to work on that quickly to try and form connections with everyone and bonds. And, right away I felt that way, but I didn't, once we all got to know each other and sit around the campfire and stuff, I feel like I made good bonds and connections. So
Yeah, so you don't feel like that kind of lost time is going to hold you back at all?
I hope not. You never know.
Yeah.
You never feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of lost time, so Dion, you were nominated to stay back and work on the bartering with the other two members of the other tribes. So you lost probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of bonding time, and you came back with not one of everything, notably. So do you feel like that has impacted, your standing in the tribe at all?
No, we went into that bartering with a plan. We did have one of almost everything. Our priority was if we did barter, that we were going to get a pot, but we were happy to not barter at all. After discussing with Andy and Rehan, it became clear if I didn't trade, it would come off poorly. We did end up with 2 of the hatchets, which has actually been really helpful. We have been chopping up wood. Paul over here managed to scrounge some ropes on the hike back down the mountain.
So it all comes out.
So I had more bartering with
Gotcha.
the rope, so it looked like we sacrificed something that could have been helpful, but
you walked in with 2 tarps, right?
we did, yes.
And do you feel like you got enough? I mean, tarp might be the most important thing here. Do you feel like you got enough for that?
I think, yeah, so what we said was if we were going to trade it, we would want to get at least 2 items. And then we did, as a group, discuss, well, we can always throw in the rope if that's what they need.
Okay.
And it sounded like that's what they needed.
Okay, great.
I'm more upset that I missed out on the only challenge we've won.
Yeah, you must be bad luck at this point.
Yeah, apparently.
Paul, do you feel like there is, in these last 25, 30 minutes, do you feel like a clear majority? I mean, there's only 7 of you. Do you feel like there's a clear majority that has kind of been created and feels comfortable about this vote?
I wouldn't say so. In the time that we've had together, I think we've all bonded equally in terms of alliances or pacts. We haven't seen much of that. Most of our time has been spent with each other, and I think the connections we've made with each other have strengthened us as a whole. It's unfortunate we find ourselves in this position, and nobody wants to make this choice, and that's the consensus that I've had with everyone.
Are you anticipating a unanimous vote or more of a split vote? Do you feel like there's multiple ideas going around, or you're kind of solidified on one idea as a group?
I think it'll probably lean more towards unanimous, but I don't think it'll be a landslide.
Okay. Aviva, obviously, one of the big twists of the season is the vote banking, right? So, you're uncomfortable predicting maybe how many votes are going to be in that urn at the end of the day. How does that factor into your decision making here?
I think it's been discussed, but I also think this being the first tribal council, you talk a lot about you only really know where someone actually stands after you see the votes, and so at least most of the conversations I've had seem to be leaning towards the vote banking perhaps not coming into play this early. I think, again, you never know until we actually see how many votes end up in there. But I think when you think about at what point a line gets drawn in the sand, at what point you know where your loyalty lies, your vote is how you prove that. And I think at this point in the game, people want to show where they stand. And you can't do that if you choose not to vote.
Yeah, very, very well said. You guys have done a great job. You guys are veterans of Tribal Council at this point. I have no idea who's going home at this point. Does anyone feel like they have anything left that they have unsaid that they want to make sure they get off their chest before we go to the voting booth? Yeah, Paul?
You're all incredible people, so glad we got to be on the same.
Yeah, I guess that is one question. I'll throw it to you, Paul. I will say that, I could hear how much fun you were having as a group last night. So how does it go from the transition of that type of bonding last night to kind of the harsh reality of voting? I mean, how do you make that switch?
Not easily. It's a game we're playing here, and we all know the stakes, and we all know the rules. I honestly don't think there will be any hard feelings. It'll suck. And at each stage, when somebody gets cut, somebody gets voted out, it's gonna feel bad, but ultimately we're playing for the greater good. So whatever transpires, whatever occurs here, it's all in good faith, and we all have each other's backs.
All right, with that, we'll get to the vote. We'll start with you, Patrick. Again, you cannot vote for Kira.
All right. All right, and with that, the players are off to vote. and I am stepping away from the tribal council area as well. So for those of you that are new fans and haven't seen how this works yet, the voters, or I guess the tribe members, as they're voting, everyone has to stay silent. So rather than just film 20 minutes of them sitting there not saying a word, this is where I step away with you guys and kind of fill you in on what I've heard, what's going on, and this is also your chance to ask me any questions that you have, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I'm making my way over to Rollins camp since they are absent, so we can hang out over here out of earshot of the players, and just have a little sit. I'm also, this is cute, I'm taking in their camp for the first time. How adorable. So, obviously very sad tribe to be at tribal council. Rollins seems, you know, very sad about it. We can attest their camp is the closest to the house, so we could hear them laughing and like carrying on into the night. And so, yeah, although, so some groups have already formed. Yes, I will show you their camps. Actually, I'll just show you this camp right now since we're here, and then we'll get into the vote. So, they have tons of firewood. Looks like they've got a little like ring around the campfire situation, some logs they can sit on. They have this, I don't know what this is. Some people yesterday were saying it was a well that's covered, but it looks like maybe that's their kitchen with the pot and the rice. Yeah, so we'll see. And then here's their tribe flag. They've got a nice little lean-to tarp situation. Very smart that they put it at this angle in case it rains. And it looks like at least one person probably confident that they're not being voted out, which in this case for Rollins, it was Kira. So that's probably Kira stuff because Kira is safe. So yeah, so Kira is the one that raised the most money on her tribe, and overall she raised over $3,000 for her charity, which is incredible. So she's safe. That's probably her stuff because she's maybe not chilling at this tribal council, but at least resting assured that she will not be going home. So a few groups have formed on this tribe already. There are 4 mental group people in this tribe, and it sounds like they're trying to form some sort of alliance and kind of stick together. So that would be Aviva, Patrick, Kira, and Dion. Remember, those 4 were on the puzzle together, and the puzzle group was like very camaraderie heavy. Like they were really supporting each other and like very much kind of going in as a united group all the way up the mountain. And so it's not surprising that those 4 would be drawn to each other, especially given that if they do, they're a majority on a tribe of 7. We also heard that Patrick has separately kind of made an alliance-y group with Sean and Sandra, and someone else that I can't remember. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I don't remember if it's like Kira or Dion or someone else that's in that, which leaves out Paul from those 2 kind of groups. So Paul is one name that's been thrown around. I'm told that he was like kind of foraging a lot in the woods, and so people are paranoid that he might have an idol. They're not really sure, but remember, he was also foraging on the mountain yesterday. He actually found rope on the mountain and like birch bark on the mountain to like bring back his kindling. So he's a big forager, and I think they're worried about that. Separately, the tribe is worried about the physical people, because there are 4 physical people on another tribe, I believe on Kineo. And so there was also a discussion of, hey, can we break up the 2 physical people on our tribe? So the 2 physical people being Sean and Paul. Interestingly, Sean at the beginning of the physical challenge yesterday told everyone that he's actually a mental person, but he chose physical so that he could be dragged up the mountain by the physical people. And so then I guess some of the physical people got sketched out by him because they were like, why is, like, he's already revealing too much about his game, and like, I don't, and just like that he had so much thought about that. It kind of was like, people were like, whoa, he's already playing so hard, and it's like minute 3. Separately, it sounds like there's potentially some Sandra versus Aviva tension that could possibly be a result of a previous game. I'm not quite sure about that. But I know that Sandra was a name that came up, and so this tribe is like kind of a mess, even though they're kind of kumbaya. It's like, it's wild. Like, the more I tell y'all, the more I remember. So also Dion this morning talked to Sean and threw out Sandra's name, and apparently Sean immediately went to Sandra and told her, because Sandra approached Dion and called him out and was like, hey, I hear you're throwing out my name. And Dion at that point had only talked to one person, aka Sean, so he knew immediately that Sean had already spilled the beans to Sandra. So, you know, they talk about being a united front, they talk about, like, you know, wanting to kind of be as one, but it doesn't sound like they're working as one. It sounds like they're working as several different. So, yeah, it's so interesting. Separately, we know that, so yes, there was an idol already hidden. There was an idol opportunity yesterday on the mountain that no one took. So as a result, everyone got a clue in their tribe's rice. And I'll show you right now. So here is the rice jar, and inside of it was a little rolled up piece of paper. And it basically said, if you want an advantage, don't be blind. Which meant that at this very first immunity challenge, they had to be one of the not blind people, which meant either callers or puzzle people. And and there was an idol hidden in one of the velvet bags for each tribe. So the puzzle people had the opportunity to grab it. I know that for Rollins, Patrick was on the puzzle and grabbed something, but he has not yet had the opportunity to look at it. So he does not know that he has an idol, but he does, which is pretty exciting. Separately, while we're on the subject, Ned kind of more discreetly grabbed it and pocketed it. And then Mary accidentally was like tumping bags out and like throwing the little like puzzle bags on the floor, and like tumped out the idol and like grabbed it and just set it on the corner of the table. And then when they were done and like everyone was coming over, she like grabbed it off the table and was like high-fiving people like with it in her hand. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows she has something on Kineo. But yeah, it's a unique situation. All right, so I'm being called back towards the tribal council area. Thanks so much for the questions and the running commentary. It is time to go find out who is going to be the first person voted out of the game. I'm sad. And I also have a shoe untied, so pray for me as I walk back that I don't fall. If you suddenly see like the sky and the grass and the trees like really quickly, I've taken a fall. All right. And the player's silently waiting. Whoops. I always do that. I always hit the wrong button. All right, silently waiting, and back we come. Looks like host Cam is back there tabulating the votes, and we'll be bringing them in shortly. The players have now all voted, and they can do nothing but wait.
All right. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. Okay, I'll get to the votes. As a reminder, once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person will be asked through the tribal council area immediately, and I will be reading all of the votes. First vote, Paul. Second vote, Paul. Third vote, Paul, that's 3. Fourth vote, Paul. And fifth vote, Paul, that's enough. Sorry, you are the first one voted out of Can You Survive? Paul, the tribe is voting.
All right, so Paul is gonna come on this way, and we are still on the live stream. So we're gonna get some final words and thoughts with Paul as soon as we are far enough away. All right, I'm so sorry.
That's fine. No more sleeping outside.
All right, we're just gonna make our way up the hill a little bit, and then this will be your time to kind of share some things with the viewers, and I'll ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right, so we can maybe hang out right here. All right, so Paul, this is your time. Thoughts, feelings, anything you want to share with the live stream?
Survivor is a very complex game, you know, and that stuff like this can happen, so it's not out there beyond the possibility. But that was a very good blindside. I talked with everybody in my camp, and there was no indication that anybody had talked to me about me, that my name was out there. So it was like just 100% out of the blue for me. But I can understand why I go, why I'm gone. I'm pretty sociable, make friends with everybody. And that was the tactic I was playing. But also I have a physical threat, which is something identifiable. So I can see the reason why I had to go. But I really wish the best to my tribe members in the rest of the game. And looking forward to no more slugs on my hands and my feet. So.
Wonderful. And obviously you made it through all of yesterday, climbed that mountain, competed in several challenges, so you have a lot to be proud of. I would love to hear maybe something that you're the most proud of about yourself out here.
I don't know. I know a lot of people. I'm glad I made it out here. I guess I'm proud of myself for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did you learn about yourself out here? Or what was maybe something interesting that you didn't expect?
Not sure. I don't know what I've learned yet.
All right.
We'll figure that out.
Sounds good. And before I let you go, you were playing for an incredible cause, so this is your chance to shout them out and tell everyone who you were playing for.
Yeah, I'm playing for Worcester Family Health Center. They're the organization that helped my family when we moved to the United States as refugees. So they provided us with a lot of the medical care we needed in order to get into school and get everything squared away there. So I want to make sure to pay it forward so that they can continue helping families like mine.
I love that. Thank you so much, Paul, and congratulations on a game well played. We will let you go now and walk away this way. So as you guys saw, there were only 5 votes that were cast, which means that 2 players did not vote and elected to bank their votes. Paul was probably one of them, considering that we saw no other name. So 1 player on Rollins has an extra vote in their pocket that they've banked now. So that'll be interesting to see play out. Also interesting that Rollins talked about losing 2, competitions in a row and then voted out arguably one of their best physical competitors. So we'll see if that was the right choice or not shortly, because we will be going live with a challenge soon. Let's just check in with host Cam to see when we're going to be live again with the next challenge.
Should be ready to go in about 20 minutes.
Ooh. All right. So we'll see you back here in 20 minutes for the next challenge. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Can someone with immunity bank their vote? Absolutely. So anyone at Tribal Council, no matter if they have immunity or not, is able to bank their vote, because everyone is eligible to vote whether they have immunity or not, as long as they're here at Tribal Council. So great question. Keep them coming. And Alt, I realized I did not recap kind of the voting banking thing. So at the next Tribal Council, I'll go ahead and do that in our time away. So thanks for the questions. See y'all in 20 minutes.